I was in Biologic May of this year, and I was at Biologic for 3 weeks in September of last year. So we're really coming up on my 1 year since first attending Biologic. In between that time, let's see, I've roughly had 5 to 15, 18 days. So 18 days in a year at Biologic. And when I came to Biologic, I was deteriorating. I walked hunched over like I had severe arthritis or osteoporosis. I could not hold food down. I could not control a lot of my bodily functions. I had extreme fatigue. I had major cognitive impairment. Um, I really was just hopeless and so scared. And so if you look at the span of a year, 300 and some days in a year, and I've only spent 18 days of that year with Biologic, and it has completely altered the course of my life. I just got a brand new job, which I am beyond grateful for. I'm working 30 to 32 hours a week. I never thought I would be able to do that again. I'm of service to other people now. Um, I'm happy. I'm motivated. I don't wake up in pain anymore. Uh, my ability to retain information and comprehend what people are saying to me is far greater than it ever has been in my entire life. And I owe it all to Biologic and my willingness to accept the fact I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that what Biologic was doing was the right track for me. And so they were willing to educate me, right? And to teach me. And I know that that was critical in my healing journey. Like I had to be willing to understand. So I'm grateful for that. Like when I left Biologic in September, I left with a slew of supplements and tinctures that I was on. I mean, we're talking a dozen or more, right, between everything. And that gets exhausting and it can take a toll on your body, taking all these pills, all these supplements and these tinctures every day. And so when I came back in May, I was able to get rid of several supplements and tinctures. And to this day, as we speak right now, I am taking absolutely nothing. I have no tinctures. I have no supplements. The only thing that I utilize occasionally is the oxy powder aid, which is basically helps you go to the restroom sometimes, right? That's the only thing that I am using from Biologic anymore. My body has found its sort of norm or its new norm, and I am on top and I am in control of my body and my mind now. And, that never would have happened for me if I didn't have them. And so I think that's really critical because a lot of people are curious, am I going to have to stay on this stuff forever? Number one, it's expensive. It's expensive to stay on all this stuff every month. And number two, it takes a lot of time. I mean, you can't just pop all these supplements and tinctures right at once. It hurts your body, it hurts your stomach. So you have to figure out a routine that works for you, and that's time consuming. That took me hours in the morning, and which hindered my ability to get a job and work, right? And so I wrote it out and I had a good support system with my family. And because of that, now I take no tinctures, I take no supplements, I have no pharmaceuticals that I am on. I am just aware of how my body is communicating to me, right? And when you've been this sick for so long, you kind of learn their patterns and cycles. And so if you take the time to be aware, you can understand what your body's saying to you. Well, I understand the communication from my body. I understand what I need to do if things are happening. I have a lot more control over my emotional responses. I don't live in those emotions anymore. I realize that those are fleeting and those are not real, really. And so that has helped me be able to control like my vagus nerve, my nervous system to keep the rest of my body from responding to it. And it's crucial that people understand you may not have to be on all this stuff forever. Is it difficult? Yes, it is. Is it painful sometimes? Yes, it is. But I think it's the lesser of the necessary evils to be able to get better and have a quality of life. And there aren't any places that are really offering this kind of hope and treatment. And it's not even really treatment, but it really truly is a healing. I mean, Biologix said it to me from the very beginning. The whole point of you attending and going through this is for you not to need them anymore, right? These are not doctors that want to have you rely on them for the rest of your life. They want to educate you and help you heal so that you can have quality of life. You don't get that in mainstream medicine. You don't. So for me, from leaving in May, I have I blossomed. I have, found my spark or found my light again, I guess. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. I enjoy life. I appreciate all the natural healing that is around me, from walking outside barefoot and grounding for a little while to standing underneath the sun and soaking it up for 10 to 20 minutes. Um, when I do get sad or depressed, I don't live in it anymore. I'm able to pull myself out of it. And that awareness in itself has been really healing. And I think it's crucial for anyone with chronic illness as well. I'm looking forward. I'm going to make a return visit to Biologic in October, another 3-day trip. And I think that I don't even necessarily know if I have to have it or if I need it. I I want it. I do. I want to be there. I want to go in and go through, their treatments like the Lux or the Power Plate, the PMF, the wonderful massages that they do there that I have never had anything like it. I mean, it truly is amazing. And of course, the staff and the doctors. It's kind of, I've said it before, it's like a recharge of my battery. And I have no idea if I will have to go, 3 to 6 days out of a year for the rest of my life. I don't know. I can tell you I want to. I mean, how many people say that? How many people say, I can't wait to go to treatment? I'm stoked. I love being there. And so I just encourage people that watch these videos that have questions about Biologic. I want you to ask yourself, are you tired of feeling like you want to die? Are you tired of feeling hopeless? Are you tired of getting the runaround from mainstream medicine and doctors who just want to prescribe you this or test you for that and push you here and push you there? You don't have to have that. Biologic is all encompassing. They will answer your question. They're not going to send you different places. Their testing's done through them. Their doctor's appointments are done through. Everything is done through them. All the communication is done for them. You don't have one doctor treating this ailment that doesn't, communicate with the next doctor that treats this ailment. And so for people that are chronically ill and they aren't getting the answers that they are seeking or need, you need to be looking at Biologic. You need to be. Don't be afraid to step out of what society considers the norm. We aren't normal. When we're chronically ill like this, there are not many doctors out there educated or experienced enough to be able to understand what is truly going on with our bodies. That's why we have a neurologist, a gastroenterologist, a hematologist, an oncologist. I mean, that's why we have all these different professions, because none of them can truly understand the entire body as a whole. Biologic understands the entire body as a whole and has no need to part out its work or its treatment to all these different specialists, because in essence, Biologic is the complete specialist. And so for me, I say, why not? If you've been so sick this long, if your children are sick, your loved ones are sick, and you aren't getting help or getting answers, why wouldn't you try this? I mean, I'm a walking testament. I wish that I could share with you what I looked like before I went there and the type of kind of tremors that I would have. I would seriously just sit here and shake nonstop, completely aware and cognizant and could speak to you. But my body would just keep twitching and twitching and twitching for 72 hours on end. I mean, it was miserable. And I was bedbound for 18 months. My children had to help me to the restroom. I had to bathe in a bathing suit so they could help me, you know, and I am happy and energized and motivated and enthusiastic and excited. I'm not afraid of death. I don't want to die anymore. I'm not writing out my will. I'm not reminiscing on what could be. I'm excited for what's gonna be. And that's a huge change. And our mental state plays a massive role in our ability to heal too. I mean, you have to mentally believe you're going to get better. You have to be mentally invested in your treatment to get better. And so many of us are just so sad and broken because it's lonely and it's scary. And Biologic takes away that fear and takes away that loneliness. You become part of a family and a community where you're believed, where you're loved and cherished. And that love and support that Biologic gave me from the very jump was one of the first things that created my healing path, my journey. I had to have that in order to heal. And because they are who they are and they have the hearts that they have, that set me down this path that I'm on, and I'm forever grateful for them. And that's why I want to do these videos. That's why I want to be a part of Biologic, because what they're doing is truly healing and it's truly making a difference in people's lives. And you will not understand until you experience it yourself. And so for all of those that are watching that are scared, I say, why not? Why not try them? You're willing to try all these different pills that doctors prescribe. You're willing to take all these tests that these doctors prescribe. You're willing to go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different specialists. Why in the heck wouldn't you go to one building, one doctor's office, right? Where all the treatments are there together? Why wouldn't you? One of the issues that it's really the only issue that I have lingering, honestly, is I thought it was my liver for a long time because it's like my right side and it just gets really tight and kind of hot. You know, I get up every morning about 5:30, whether I want to or not, and it's not painful. It's annoying, I guess, would be, and kind of constant, but it's not liver, and I learned that it's actually muscular, right? And so the only thing that I have found that fixes it is those amazing massages they give me. Like, I carry all my stress and stuff right down here in my lower back and, you know, on the top of my butt and my hip. And so I've tried kneading it out myself. I've tried other massage and it just does not work. They are so skilled at what they do there. And the frequency treatments that they use there have been the only thing I found to correct that for me. And so I want to go back because I know it'll get fixed, which is really nice. But also, I would love for Dr. Farney to do a reading over my body and kind of see where I'm at. You know, I I like the proof in the pudding, I guess you could say. I like when we do the testing and I can compare results from September to May and then May to when I go back in October, right? I like to see the progression. It's it's comforting, you know? And honestly, I think it helps prove what Biologic can really do, right? If I just stop now and I still need a little bit of healing, right? Just because I feel so good and I'm really happy, right? Doesn't mean that there's still not something going on in there building up. So I want to go back to have verification of where I'm at, test results to compare to, and, you know, of course, utilize their brilliant treatments there. So I like the sensitivity. Like, I had extreme high sensitivities to grapefruit seed extract and caprylic acid, which are utilized as inactive ingredients in a lot of medications and also in foods. I'm curious to see if I'm still such a high sensitivity to them. I am curious to see some of like my inflammation markers, right? How severe some of the infections are still presenting themselves to be. So we saw a major decrease from September to May, which was huge, right? And now I've stopped the supplements and the tinctures, right? So September to May, I was utilizing his protocol to a T, right? And I go back in May, I get removed from some supplements and tinctures. I come back home, and then I was like, you know what? Let's wipe the slate clean. Let's stop everything, right? And let's see how I feel. And I feel great. I mean, we're looking at what, 2 months now? 60 days of nothing, and I feel amazing. So I want to make sure that this isn't some type of like false high, right? You know what I mean? So going back in October will help with that because they get a more in-depth look at what's going on in my body than I can give. I had so much fun. I love seeing the girls in Dr. Farney. I absolutely love seeing them. And for me, that's what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the massage and the treatment, they're great. And it is like a little getaway because Franklin, Tennessee is gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Their building's gorgeous. But it's the people. I mean, you guys are all so wonderful. And for people like us that are so sick, we've been so isolated from society. And it feels so wonderful to walk through those doors and know you're loved and know you're believed and to be a part of a community where you're not the oddity, you know? So that for me is what it is. Plus, I'm a science nerd, so I love it when Dr. Farney talks shop with me. The freedom for a future, the freedom for what if, for what's possible. You know, when you're down and you're hopeless, you stop dreaming. You stop anticipating good things. You stop being hopeful that you're going to get better, and you just start accepting that you're either going to be miserable like this forever or you're going to die soon. And I gained back the freedom for anything is possible for me now. Anything is possible for my children now. I I don't like the word normal because I don't think there is a normal, you know, to each their own. But I have a future now. And it is a future where I lay suffering in bed, wondering how I'm going to pay the bills or take care of my children or put food in the house. I can go out and be a productive member of society. And I flip and enjoy it. Like, I am so excited about it. You know, this new job I have, I am literally of service to individuals like in recovery or that are homeless and, you know, that are down on their luck. And what better person, right, than someone who was down on their luck, who had no hope, right, and found a light in the dark. And I want to be that for other people. And I think that people in a position as the chronically ill, when you are able to come out of it, sharing your story and giving your hope to other people is how we start helping to heal the world, you know, and to give back. And it's very soul filling, right? And that's what Biologic gave me. That's what Biologic gave me. And I tell you, you know, I'm not a rich woman at all. I've said this before, I'm considered poor, you know, but I would have spent every last penny I had, you know, I wouldn't have waited 6 years to go to Biologic had I known that this is what I was going to get from them. Because far more than just the treatment themselves or being in control of my body, having my spirit back is the best thing that's ever happened to me.